The heat shimmered off the Los Angeles asphalt, thick as soup, suffocating. Bruce squinted through the tinted windshield of his black Escalade, drumming his fingers on the steering wheel as he waited at the red light. Another day, another meeting, another lukewarm coffee in some over-air-conditioned studio office. Then he saw her. Just ahead, a girl, maybe 10, 11, darted between idling cars, clutching a plastic cooler and a stack of water bottles. Her shirt was soaked with sweat, clinging to her narrow back. She weaved through traffic like she'd done it 100 times. But something about her pace, the way she glanced behind her shoulder with anxious eyes, made Bruce's stomach twist. He lowered the window halfway. "Water for $1, she called, her voice small but practiced. "Ice-cold water." She approached the car in front of him, knocking gently on the window. The driver waved her off without looking. She didn't flinch, just pivoted and moved to the next car. Bruce frowned. The girl was wearing worn-out sneakers, one of them untied, and her cooler had duct tape holding the lid shut. That could have been his own daughter, Mabel, years ago, before the movies, before the fame, back when life was simpler, when he was just a bartender in Jersey dreaming of screenplays. The light turned green. Cars surged forward. Bruce didn't move. A horn blared behind him. He ignored it. His eyes stayed on the girl as she ducked toward the sidewalk, stumbling slightly as she hoisted the cooler to her hip. Then he saw it. A man. Across the street, leaning against a graffiti-tagged lamppost, arms folded. His eyes followed the girl's every move. He didn't wave, didn't help, just stood there, watching, waiting. Bruce's pulse quickened. That wasn't her dad. No way. The man had a cold stillness to him, like someone used to waiting for things to happen, or for someone to finish a job. "God damn it," Bruce muttered. He yanked the wheel right and pulled into a parking lot entrance just before the intersection, ignoring more honks. He parked crooked and hopped out. The heat punched him in the face as he jogged toward the corner, past a bodega and a taco stand, eyes scanning for the girl. There. She was resting now, crouched by a mailbox, fanning herself with a flattened cardboard sign. The cooler sat beside her, one side collapsed inward. Bruce slowed his pace. He didn't want to scare her. "Hey," he said gently. She looked up, her eyes narrowed, cautious. "Are you okay?" She hesitated. "You want water?" "No, I mean, yes, sure. But I wanted to ask, do you need help?" Her face shifted, a flicker of fear. Then she looked past him, toward the man. He was gone. But Bruce had seen too much already. "What's your name?" he asked. She stood slowly, wiped her hands on her shorts. "Ariana. You out here every day?" She nodded. "Gotta help my mom. She works nights, rents late." Bruce glanced down at her shoes again, at the cooler with broken hinges, at the thin arms and sunburnt neck. He swallowed. "I'm Bruce," he said. "Bruce Willis." She blinked. "You a movie guy or something?" He smiled. "Used to be." A long pause. Then, softly, "You want to grab some food?" Her lips parted. I'm not supposed to. It's just food. 1 hour." "My treat." She hesitated again, then nodded. As they walked toward the taco stand, Bruce felt something settle in his chest. This wasn't just a random stoplight. This was the beginning of something. Bruce handed Ariana a napkin as she leaned over the plastic tray, sauce dripping from the edge of her taco. She ate like someone who hadn't had a full meal in days, fast, focused, no wasted motion. They sat on a bench outside the taco stand, a string of faded papel picado fluttering above them in the light breeze. The buzz of traffic and street vendors mixed with the low thump of reggaeton playing from a nearby speaker. "You ever been in a movie?" she asked between bites, glancing sideways at him. "Yeah," Bruce replied, sipping from his bottle of Topo Chico. "A few. Anything I'd know?" "Depends. You ever heard of Die Hard?" Her brow furrowed. "Is that the one with the bald guy who jumps out of a building?" Bruce grinned. "That's me." Ariana stopped chewing. "Wait, seriously?" He nodded, amused by her skepticism. "Used to be on every poster in Times Square." She studied his face. You don't look like that now. Age'll do that to you. A silence stretched between them, not awkward, just heavy with unspoken things. Bruce leaned back. Where's your mom? She cleans offices downtown. Third shift. Doesn't get home till after sunrise. And your dad? Ariana didn't answer. She stared at the edge of the tray, picking at the grease-soaked paper. I get it, Bruce said. You don't have to talk about it. Ariana shrugged. He's not around, wasn't ever. Another pause. Bruce watched a boy chase his little brother across the sidewalk, both laughing, both barefoot. You know that guy I saw earlier? He asked. Across the street? She tensed. What guy? The one leaning against the lamppost, watching you. Ariana's jaw tightened. I didn't see anyone. Is he the reason you looked over your shoulder every 2 minutes? She shifted in her seat. Some people, they just look. Doesn't mean anything. Bruce studied her. The way her hands clenched around the bottle, the way her eyes avoided his. I don't like coincidences, he said quietly. And I don't like kids working corners in 100-degree heat while someone watches from the shadows. Ariana set the bottle down. You don't know me. You're right, Bruce said, but I know enough to tell when something's wrong. She stood abruptly. Thanks for the food. Ariana, I'm not stupid, okay? I'm not some lost little girl. I sell water because people buy it, because it's legal. Because we don't got other choices. Bruce stood too, but didn't raise his voice. I'm not judging you. You think I want your pity. I've been doing this since I was 7. You think this is new to me? Her voice cracked at the end. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand, embarrassed. Bruce took a slow breath. I don't pity you, I admire you. But I also think someone's using you. That stopped her. She stared at him, blinking fast. What do you mean? I think that guy across the street isn't a stranger. I think someone's pocketing what you make. Am I wrong? She said nothing. Then, it's complicated. Bruce nodded. Let's make it simple. You don't go back out there today. And tomorrow? He hesitated. Let's figure that out together. Ariana crossed her arms, looking at the horizon. The sky had turned amber. I'll get in trouble if I don't go back, she said. Then let's make sure the right people hear about it. Her voice was barely a whisper. They don't listen. They will, Bruce said. If I'm the one talking. The air in the motel room was stale, tinged with bleach and something sour. Bruce closed the door behind them, flicked on the light and dropped the keycard on the table next to a half-broken lamp. Ariana stood in the middle of the room, arms crossed tight, eyes scanning everything. The single bed, the rattling AC, the laminated sheet listing checkout times and emergency contacts. You can relax, Bruce said, kicking off his shoes. No one knows you're here. She didn't sit. I don't usually go anywhere without telling them. Them being the guy at the lamppost? She didn't answer. Bruce sighed, pulling his phone from his pocket. You hungry again? I can order something. Burgers? Pizza? I shouldn't be here. You're safe. Ariana looked at him, something burning behind her eyes. You think I don't know how this works? You think this is the first time someone's promised to help? Bruce met her gaze. I don't make promises. She stared a beat longer, then finally sat on the edge of the bed. So what's the plan, Bruce Willis? You gonna go full Hollywood vigilante? He smirked. Thought about it. She pulled her knees to her chest. They'll come looking. Rico always knows where I go. He's got people. Bruce sat in the only chair, the vinyl peeling at the edges. Who's Rico? A pause. Then, my mom's boyfriend. He says he's helping us out, helps pay rent, but only if I help too. Bruce's jaw clenched. So he sends you out? Ariana nodded slowly. Says I'm better at it. People trust a kid. They buy more. You give him everything you make? Almost. I keep $5 sometimes. Enough to get a donut and a juice before school. Does your mum know? She says we owe him that he's doing what he can. Bruce rubbed his temples. You don't owe anyone your safety. She thinks I'm strong, that I can handle it. That's not your job. Ariana looked out the window. The streetlights buzzed against the glass. You know what it's like, don't you? To have people expect things from you you never asked for. Bruce let out a quiet laugh. Yeah, I do. She studied him for a moment. You look tired. He smiled. Been a long day. Why'd you stop? What do you mean? At the light, why'd you stop for me? Bruce looked down at his hands. Because I saw a kid being brave when no one should have to be. And because I've got daughters. And if they were out there like that, I'd hope someone would stop. Ariana didn't say anything. Bruce stood and grabbed a blanket from the closet. You take the bed. I'll crash in the chair. Really? Really? He dimmed the light. She curled up on top of the blanket, facing the wall. Bruce, she said after a while. Yeah? What happens tomorrow? We talk to someone. CPS, maybe LAPD. Someone who can actually step in. They never help. They will if I'm there, and if not, we'll keep trying. Another long silence. Then, so soft, he barely heard. Okay. Bruce leaned back in the chair, arms crossed. He watched the glow of a neon sign flicker through the curtains. He wasn't sure what he'd just stepped into, but he knew one thing. He wasn't stepping out of it. Not now. The waiting room was cold. Too cold. Ariana shivered beside Bruce on the vinyl bench, clutching a styrofoam cup of watery coffee she hadn't touched. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting everything in a harsh, white glow. Posters lined the walls, smiling kids, slogans like "Every child deserves safety." But the receptionist hadn't smiled once. Bruce glanced at the clock. 37 minutes. He could have walked into a casting meeting, shaken hands, and left with a contract in less time. Do you think this is a mistake? Ariana asked quietly. Bruce looked at her. No. But what if they just send me back? They won't. She didn't seem convinced. A door opened down the hall. A woman in a navy blouse stepped out, holding a clipboard. Her voice was kind, but clipped. Ariana Mendez. Ariana stood slowly. Bruce followed, but the woman stopped him. We'll need to speak with her alone first. Bruce didn't move. I'm not family, but I brought her in. She's not safe at home. The woman nodded politely. We understand, Mr. Willis, but protocol says she speaks to us privately first, then we'll talk with you. Ariana turned. It's okay. He gave her a small nod. She disappeared behind the door. Bruce sat back down, jaw tight. He didn't trust protocols, not when they moved this slow. 15 minutes passed, then 20. Finally, the woman returned and motioned Bruce into a smaller office. Ariana sat there, eyes down, knees bouncing. Mr. Willis, the woman said, sitting behind the desk. Her nameplate read, S. Patel. Ariana shared some things with us. We'll be opening an investigation into her mother's partner. His name's Ricardo Ortega, correct? Yes. Do you know where he lives? Bruce nodded. At the same apartment as Ariana and her mum, East Hollywood. I can give you the address. Ms. Patel clicked her pen. We've documented Ariana's statements. Her safety is our top priority. For now, she won't return home. We'll arrange a temporary placement. Bruce frowned. A foster home? Possibly. Or a group facility until we evaluate family options. She mentioned an aunt in Santa Ana, but we haven't confirmed that yet. She doesn't want to go to a stranger. Patel's voice softened. Mr. Willis, you're not a guardian. And while we appreciate what you've done, we can't release her into your care. Bruce looked at Ariana. She didn't cry. She didn't even flinch. But he could see it in her. The same stillness he'd seen when she'd sold water to strangers like it was normal. He turned back to Patel. Let me help then. Let me stay in contact. I'll fund whatever she needs. Food, clothes, school. Hell, a lawyer if it comes to that. Patel hesitated. We'll keep you on the contact list. But until we verify details, her placement and location will remain confidential. Bruce clenched his fists. She trusted me. She got in my car. That should count for something. Ariana's voice broke the tension. It's okay, Bruce. He looked at her. She gave him a small smile. You already did more than anyone ever has. He swallowed hard. Patel stood. We'll take it from here. As they walked him back to the lobby, Bruce paused. He turned to Ariana. "I'm not done. I'll be around. I promise." She nodded. "I believe you." He stepped out into the sunlight. This wasn't over. Rico wasn't going to keep hiding behind scared kids. And Ariana wasn't going to disappear into a file cabinet. Not if he had anything to say about it. It had been 3 weeks, 3 long weeks since Bruce had walked out of that family services office, wondering if he'd ever see Ariana again. He'd made calls, quiet ones, friends in media, retired detectives, a lawyer he trusted from his divorce days, all off the books. All to make sure Rico Ortega couldn't slip through the cracks. And then the email came. Subject line, "Update on Ariana Mendez, confidential." The body was short, bureaucratic, but the last sentence hit him like a shot of adrenaline. "She has been safely placed with her maternal aunt in Santa Ana." He dropped his phone on the kitchen counter and let out a long breath. Not foster care. Not a group home, family. Someone she actually knew, someone who might care. The next day he drove down. The house was small, beige stucco with red flowers lining the sidewalk. A cracked basketball hoop leaned near the driveway. It wasn't fancy, but it looked like somewhere a kid could exhale. He knocked once. A woman in her 30s opened the door, hair tied back, eyes wary. "I'm Bruce," he said. "Bruce Willis." "I know," she replied. "She talks about you." A moment passed. "She's in the backyard," the woman said, stepping aside. Bruce walked through the modest living room, past family photos and a dog sleeping in the corner. When he stepped outside, the sun was warm and the air smelled like cut grass and oranges. Ariana sat at a patio table, notebook open, pencil tapping. She looked up. She didn't say anything right away, just smiled. "You came," she said. "Wouldn't miss it." She stood and gave him a quick hug. Not long, but enough. "I heard you helped," she said. "They're arresting Rico. My mom's in a program now. She's trying." Bruce nodded. "It's a start." She sat back down, flipping her notebook shut. "You know, I want to write a book someday. About all this. Not just what happened, how it felt, how it feels to be seen, finally." He leaned on the patio railing. "You've got a voice, kid. Use it." "I will." They sat in comfortable silence. Then Ariana said, "You ever think about going back to acting?" Bruce chuckled. "Every day someone asks me that." "Maybe you should." "Why?" "Because people still listen to you." He considered that. "You could use your voice too," she added. "Maybe I will," he said. She reached into her backpack and handed him a folded piece of paper. "I wrote something. For school. They said, pick a personal hero." He unfolded it and read in silence. "My hero. The man who stopped. Not because he was famous, not because he had money, but because he saw something no one else saw. A girl in danger. A life that mattered, and he didn't drive away." Bruce looked up, eyes damp. "This is, I meant every word," Ariana said. He put the paper carefully in his jacket pocket. "I'll keep it forever." She smiled. "Promise?" "Promise." As he walked back to his car, Bruce paused at the sidewalk. He turned and looked at the little house again, the life rebuilding inside. And for the first time in a long while, he felt like he'd done something that mattered. Off-screen, unfilmed, unseen by millions. Just 2 people trying to rewrite the script they'd been handed. And as he drove away, the voiceover played in his mind. Not from a movie, not from a script, but from something real. Sometimes you don't need to be a hero. You just need to stop the car. If this story moved you, make sure to subscribe and click the video on screen. It was chosen just for you, and you're going to love it.